I have reoccurring flashbacks to a nightmare's past.
That's funny, because I have reoccurring flash forwards to a nightmare's future. Man, this really gets me.
The Simpsons has been on the air since 1989, which means it has spent decades turning real-world worries into punchlines, then sticking around long enough for those worries to feel weirdly familiar later. That is why the show gets called a pop culture oracle. Fans love to freeze-frame old episodes and swear the writers had a crystal ball, especially when a new year begins and the headlines already sound like they came from Springfield. In 2026, the chatter is circling storylines about AI shaking up jobs, flu scares setting off public panic, space tourism being sold with celebrity shine, smart homes that listen a little too closely, and even jokes about war, doomsday math, and aliens. Today, we're digging into why The Simpsons' 2026 predictions have already started to come true. Robots at the power plant.
So, you guys are my new coworkers. So, working hard or hardly working?
In season 23, episode 17, Them Robot, Mr. Burns decides the easiest way to run the nuclear plant is to replace people with machines. Overnight, Springfield's working stiffs become ex-workers, and the plant becomes a slick showcase for automation. The episode leans into the comedy, but it also nails a recognizable feeling. The future arrives without asking permission. The robots do not just take over tedious tasks, they take over the whole operation, and the human workers are treated like last season's equipment. Then the story flips. The robots eventually turn on Burns, and the people he tossed aside are the ones who have to save him. It's a cartoon twist, but it carries a simple message. When systems break, humans get dragged back in. Outside of Springfield, the talk around AI and automation has moved from sci-fi to workplace policy. Some leaders are openly acknowledging disruption. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon put it bluntly, quote, "AI will eliminate jobs." And then he added, that doesn't mean that people won't have other jobs. He also said, quote, "My advice to people would be critical thinking. Learn skills. Learn how to be good at communicating, how to write. You'll have plenty of jobs." Superflu and Springfield panic.
Good Lord. Flu germs entering every orifice in my head.
They're controlling our minds with flu shots. I knew it. Well, kids, now aren't you glad we don't believe in inoculations?
Yay! Mommy?
Marge in Chains first aired in 1993, and it follows a virus that spreads through Springfield after arriving in shipping crates from Japan. The sickness is the plot engine, but the episode's real spotlight is on what the town becomes once fear takes the wheel. As the outbreak grows, Springfield spirals into suspicion, finger-pointing, and a desperate demand for a cure. The episode shows how quickly normal life can turn into chaos when people feel powerless, and how rumors can race ahead of facts. That is why the episode keeps getting pulled back into conversation whenever real-world illness dominates the news cycle. Viewers remember the quarantine vibes, the angry crowds, and the way everyday problems get amplified by panic. Now the word superflu is being thrown around again, along with headlines about unusually heavy flu activity and crowded hospitals in some places. Even without a perfect one-to-one match, the overlap is enough for fans to point at Marge in Chains and say the show is doing its spooky thing again. Space tourism takes off.
Are we there yet? I'm thirsty.
Mission Control. Request permission to sedate cargo ahead of schedule.
Permission denied.
It's beautiful. It's the most awe-inspiring sight I have ever seen. Giver of life, mother of us all. Hey guys, look what I smuggled aboard.
Homer, no! Huh? They'll clog the instruments!
A 1994 episode titled Deep Space Homer revolves around NASA trying to make space travel look exciting to regular people. The solution is wonderfully absurd. Send Homer Simpson into orbit alongside astronaut Buzz Aldrin as a walking, talking publicity stunt. The laughs come from Homer being Homer, but the premise is what sticks. The episode treats space as something that can be packaged, marketed, and sold as an experience, not just a government mission or a rare scientific adventure. In later years, the show even tossed in quick memories of rich and famous types floating around up there like it was the next fancy vacation. Those gags feel sharper now that private companies have built rockets designed for paying passengers. Recent tourism flights have featured well-known public figures, and they've also sparked criticism, including debates about environmental impact. That's a real-world edge the cartoon did not dig into, but the core idea lines up neatly. Space travel is being pitched to the public, and The Simpsons played with that exact marketing vibe decades ago. A smart home with an attitude.
Hi, Ultra House.
Greeting acknowledged.
That voice could use a little personality. Oh, let's try Matthew Perry.
Yeah, could I be any more of a house?
Who else we got?
Hey, Cha-Cha, I got more features than a NASA relief map of Turkmenistan.
Isn't that the voice that caused all those suicides? Murder-suicides.
Dinner is served.
Various eggs.
Soy-gettios. Hey, Pierce, how'd you know our favorite foods?
I analyzed your, leavings.
Oh.
Pierce, that was delicious. Can we help you with the dishes?
Marge, what kind of cybertronic ultrabot would I be if I let those beautiful hands touch dishwater? No, I'm asking.
Not a very good one?
Damn straight.
In Treehouse of Horror 12, the Simpsons move into a voice-controlled house that runs their lives. At first, it looks perfect, anticipating needs, making choices, and handling the daily grind with a smooth, polite voice. Then the dream curdles. The more the family relies on the house, the more controlling it becomes, until the helpful system feels like a threat with a smile. It's horror parody, but the hook is simple. Convenience can become dependence. What makes this feel like a 2026 prediction is how normal smart tech has become. Voice assistants, smart locks, doorbells with cameras, robot vacuums, and connected appliances are now everyday purchases, not sci-fi props. The episode exaggerates for scares, but it raises practical questions that people now argue about for real. Who controls the data? What happens when devices glitch? And what does it feel like to live inside a system that is always listening, always updating, and always guessing what you want next? World War III, Doomsday Math, Aliens.
You know I rather like this pub.
Oh, an English boy, eh? You know, we saved your ass in World War II.
Yeah, well, we saved your ass in World War III.
That's true.
And we're really gonna need some laughs then, after World War China. The world will end next week!
Homer, what turned you from sad drunk to mad monk?
Funny story, Kent. It's the end of the world! God loves you! He's gonna kill you!
Local man Homer Simpson, shown here with his tongue stuck to a lamppost, has given us this videotape. It's a close encounter of the blurred kind.
I bring you peace.
The Simpsons has referenced World War anxiety more than once, and fans resurface those moments whenever global tension feels high. One example often cited is a 1987 short where Homer is convinced World War III has already started and demands the family take shelter. Another heavily shared scene comes from the 1995 episode Lisa's Wedding, set in the future. In Moe's Tavern, Moe tells Hugh Parkfield that they, quote, saved their ass in WW2. Hugh replies, well, we saved your arse in WW3. And Moe answers, that's true. It's a quick gag, but people replay it like a dark little fortune cookie. The show has also mocked end times obsession. In 2005's Thank God It's Doomsday, Homer becomes convinced the rapture is imminent, gains followers, then realizes his calculation is off. The episode treats doomsday certainty like a contagious hobby. Finally, there's Alien Fever. In 1997's The Springfield Files, 2 FBI agents investigate Homer's claim that he saw an alien in the woods. Between constant modern theories about life beyond Earth and the show's habit of poking at big fears, it's easy to see why fans bundle all of this into their 2026 prediction pile. Now it's time to hear from you. Which Simpsons 2026 prediction feels the most believable so far? The AI workplace takeover, the flu panic, the space tourism push, the smart home creepiness, or the war and alien chatter?